It's interesting that Jesus says to his disciples, and not just to his disciples, but recorded for you and for me today. And he says this, I give you a new command. Anybody know any of the 10 commandments? Yeah, you shall not lie. What else? You shouldn't steal. All the other ones start out with 2 words. They start with 2 words. Give me the second word. Do not. Do not do this. And Jesus changes it all. It's not a do not, it's a do. I want you to stay in my love. Stay in relationship with me. Now, in Romans 12, first 2 verses there, the Apostle Paul writes it this way. He says, I want you to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. The most beautiful act of worship is when you present yourself as a living sacrifice. Roman people, Greek people, and the Jewish people understood one thing about a sacrifice. That was if you took an animal and you wanted it to be sacrificed, that meant it was going to be burned on an altar. The best way to keep that animal on the altar when you set it on fire was to do what with it? Kill it. Jesus is looking at you and me and he's saying, would you please not do that? I'm not asking you to die. He says, I want you to be someone who chooses to live in surrender to me. When we make that decision, and a number of you did yesterday, what did we celebrate yesterday morning down by the lake? That was presenting yourself as a living sacrifice. If it was going to be a dead sacrifice, they held you under the water. And then they would have looked and said, from that moment on, they lived perfectly. Then he goes on to say that then your story will be transformed. You got to start changing your words. You got to start living by the truths. And one of them is, remain in my love. And as you remain in my love, he says, my love will begin to change you. This next truth that God shares here is either absolutely true and it has to be 100% true, or it's false. And if it's false, God is a liar. And not only that, he's cruel. He says, I want you to know something. He said, your story and your lives will be transformed. And the one thing about God is that he cannot lie. And he makes you a promise. Your story will be transformed. Your story will be as different as the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. God transforms your story so that you become something completely different. And in that difference, you never go back to what you were. If you will trust his love is what changes you. And how do you do that? By every day presenting yourself to him and saying, God, I want to remain in your love today. I want your love to be that power in my life. Jesus, the way that you love me, I want to be able to feel it and experience it this day. And Jesus, I'm going to trust you with my story today, that you can change it into something I never thought it could be. I never thought it could be.